Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of the Record Around podcast. This is a series in which we take representatives from different record arounds on the subreddit and discuss topical matters in the world of RRs. For this episode, we're a little bit short on regulars in terms of Lego not being here, but I'm joined as per usual by Maximum 50
Hey there.
and Casmic.
Howdy.
And our guest round for this episode, we are joined by Nuzlocke. So we have organiser Kak.
Yo, what's up?
We have founder 40 Pixel.
Hey, what's up?
We have helper / organizer thingy Tommy SX. Alright,
That's
cheers. Cheers, Tommy. And we have real MVP, the scripter. We have Joris.
Hey!
He's a real MVP.
He is the
Wait,
real
it's me.
MVP.
Okay, Tommy's
Hey,
your
Tommy.
riddle.
Okay.
I'm sorry, was that the wrong time?
So yes, does anybody have any opening remarks? before we
Yes, I would just like
Alright.
to say, this is quite a big opening remark, but firstly I want to say, I never said air type, and if I did, please link me the
Holy
exact time.
shit, what are you-
and-
what?
Look, no, someone from last
Back.
podcast said I said air type. I did not say air type. I never said that.
Airtight.
I have heard you say air type. I'm so
Have you
sure of
really?
that. Yes.
You play
Okay.
Pokemon
I
Cat?
just heard you say it.
Okay.
Here at the RR podcast,
Look.
we answer all the big questions.
First thing I want to address. I have never said airtight, okay? I've never said it. Don't say I have.
I don't know where you got this, but I am a Pepsi guy. I don't drink Coca-Cola.
Okay, fine. Maybe I've said it. I don't care. That was in the past. I don't say that
I would
anymore.
like to thank... I don't know, I don't actually remember which one usually is the runner of this, but for inviting us.
No
Yeah,
problem.
bad fan.
Yeah, thanks,
would be
Lego.
me.
Thanks, bad fan. I
Yeah,
think you're a
just
good
Lego.
fan.
It is Lego. He owns this thing. No, he
Oh, well,
doesn't
thanks.
really.
He's
Alright,
not here,
that
is
guy.
he?
So one of the things you guys wanted me to explain was like how the addition of someone to Nuzlocke works, because a lot of people from last podcast seem to be very confused about that,
My
right?
bad.
Yeah,
That's fine. No,
my
it's
fault.
fine. It's fine that you guys were confused about it, because it isn't that confusing. It's just that it's left mysterious, you know, and there's some special tweaks to it because of the 18-player limit that Nuzlocke has. So I'll explain it all over now. So on Twitter, I said that there was only 13 actual players of Nuzlocke, right? Which doesn't mention actually how the process goes. So I mean, you guys kind of just made assumptions out of that, but that's fine. And I have mentioned on Twitter way back on how the additions of new players work, but I don't think you guys understood exactly what I said. So basically what happens is, between me, Tommy, 40, and Chippy, we decide whether, well, the person would have to ask me or one of the people to be referred or something, and then the four of us would decide if that player fits as reliable or knows anything about Pokemon and is respectable. Of course, there have been two people that have never known anything about Pokemon, which is Angel and Flooz. But Angel was added before I was organizer. Flooz was added. Well, he's not even an official member. He's just continuously added because he's just a great member. He's the best fit. Like, I don't think anyone has a problem with Flooz being in there. Actually, if you do, I don't know. But yeah, it's really down to the four of us to see if they are good enough for the group, and then we put them on the vote. It's just simple as majority vote. That's literally how it is. And because there's like there's going to be people more well known on the vote than others. That's why the spectrum for who gets in is in more favor of those who are well known, and that's why it seems like we don't pick people. But we actually do. We picked a lot of people in the past that that people wanted in, like such as Bertree, Sean, and Slow, you know. So and because of the 18-player limit, we're a little bit different from any other round. We have this 18-player limit because of the types, and because of the types, we can't have duplicate types. We don't want it, and we've never done it, and we probably won't ever do it unless there's special reasons for the game mode to have it. But because of that, we we can't go over that limit. So And whenever we do get 18 players, like as the official roster, in between seasons, people leave. It seems like there's very few actual Nuzlocke players, and that's why we can't we can't add the people keep adding because they didn't make it into the 18th spot, and then people leave like after voting. So that's really what happens. Yeah, that's really about all I have to say. Oh, and basically, I don't think it's fair to say that whoever is like no one in Nuzlocke deserves to be in Nuzlocke, because there's a lot of rounds where the concept is like there's people in that round. Let's use Out of Orbit for example. The roster definitely is not filled of space-loving experts. I could be wrong about that, but I'm not even an expert on space. But I do love space, but I'm not an expert on it, right? So it's unfair for people to say that Nuzlocke should be only Pokemon lovers. And that brings another point, actually, because if Nuzlocke was only Pokemon lovers, I don't think the Nuzlocke would have the success it has now.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I don't want to talk
Now,
about like
I
years.
think.
But
Alright, go ahead.
I'll go ahead and say that Kak says he doesn't want, he doesn't feel it's necessary for people to love Pokemon around. On the opposition, if you want to know who stops people who don't like Pokemon from getting in, that's me. I completely feel that
yeah, that's why
Pokemon is such a phenomena to the media. Like it's a big thing, you know. It's people love Pokemon, and I feel that when we add someone, I generally want to know. The first thing I ask is, do they love Pokemon? And if I find out the answer is no right off the bat, I don't care to have them nearly as much as I did before, if I may have. I feel that Nuzlocke is really I think it does a good job of acknowledging a lot of Pokemon.
yeah, like we
No,
have
if we're-
Crimson, Tommy, Brick, Fairy, Frost, Green, and Pokedex and Fukano, which are all Pokemon lovers, and I think
Yeah.
they love more than the average, I'd say.
Yeah, so just keep in mind, if you don't get in, don't blame Kak. It's all me. I fucking hate you.
Take all your anger out on Tommy, not Keck, please.
So the reason why I think Nuzlocke in particular sort of gets a bit slated for adding people who don't play Pokemon as opposed to other concepts is because like Nuzlocke's a very specific, strong concept. So like, take my round. My round isn't filled with people who are obsessed with death. So
I hope not. If it was filled with people who love death, I think we'd have a problem.
So like that's why I think Out of Orbit was actually a really good example to use because I think it's very much on the same spectrum as Nuzlocke in terms of it's so specifically about space, and that's obviously why people like Frost got added. And I assume Frost being added was sort of in season 4 was probably one of the biggest sort of notable moments for it, and he was added. You know, Lethal said himself a fortnight ago that Frost hadn't really spoken to anyone in the group.
Yeah.
He was added specifically because he liked space a
astronomy.
lot, and yeah, and
Like that was the main reason that they got along well, was because as soon as he realized Frost was like a massive astronomy freak, he's like, yeah, I need to add this guy to my round. It's like a perfect fit, and it was like if you look at the editing that Frost put in season 4, he did make it like the realism was incredible in his perspective. He really did add a special touch to it.
Well, I think that's just Frost in general. He does that. Like if you saw his Nuzlocke perspective, he
Yeah, it was
did so
amazing.
much. It was
Yeah, his
fantastic.
Nuzlocke one I
Shout
especially
out to
enjoy.
Frost.
Absolutely.
Everyone will subscribe to Frost. Alright. But I understand that logic, right? But in Pokemon, it's a little bit different because there's many Pokemon fans that are really like well knowledgeable on it, right? And I don't think it's fair to say that they are better fit than the people in it just because they know more Pokemon. There's also many different factors to it besides just knowing Pokemon, like being a reliable uploader, being someone who's good at commentary, being someone who fits in the round, a lot of things. Like, thinking about it this way, in real life, if you did really good in a class, it doesn't guarantee you to get the job. There's many other factors into getting the job, which could be like, oh, you having a connection with them, you having experience. The guy with the education probably isn't going to get in as much as the person with the experience and the connections. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just how it is
It's
in
a
real
good
life as well.
analogy,
So
yeah.
I'll actually bring up a specific example here. Sean got added for season 6. He played, and we don't know Sean as well, but he loves Pokemon. However, we're friends with Sean. People in the group knew Sean beforehand. We all liked him beforehand, so that's the thing, is that if someone's a huge Pokemon fan, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're gonna we'll probably consider them, but it is ultimately about if you mesh well with the group, if you are good at commentary, which I think we all agree within the Nuzlocke organizers, we love Sean's commentary. We think he's a great
yes.
guy.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Basically, Sean, you want my kids, you can have them, but I think I think he does fit well with the group, even though he hadn't spoken to everyone like many other editions have. And overall, his knowledge of Pokemon certainly didn't hurt. So,
Also, in the topic of Sean's edition, the Reddit's reaction to him being added was huge. So definitely, well, not even just from the perspective of the round, but the general community loved seeing Sean in there. So that was definitely a good pick.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
believe
that's,
the term
it
is
kind of
splurge.
gives good publicity to the round if you add someone who likes the concept. Like I liked all of the newcomers for season 6 of Nuzlocke. I thought they were all great fits, but obviously Sean was the one who I like seeing the most because I know how much of a fan of Pokemon he is and how much he sort of deserved to be in there. So, and it was the same with Frost. So even though, if you add somebody to a round because they fit in the group, alright, nice to see them in there, but they fit in the group, so you'd sort of expect to see them in there at some point anyway. Whereas I would have, even though he's a huge Pokemon fan, I would have never expected to see Sean show up in Nuzlocke. And I like that in general. Like, I just like an underdog addition to a bigger...
Can I just mention that everyone wants Joris in it, and Joris was planned to play season 6, but he's gone away from the community.
So.
And it was also really late.
Joris, do you like Pokemon?
I've played it a couple of times.
I've played it a couple of times.
Yeah, so just remember,
It's
when you
me.
don't get it, call me up, not Cac.
I think
know Kek wants me in.
especially for rounds with rounds with strong kind of themes and stuff, I definitely think an enjoyment of kind of like in the case of Nuzlocke, a good knowledge and enjoyment of Pokemon is necessary because like if you don't enjoy Pokemon, then it could be put into question your enjoyment of your thoughts on the concept of the round. Because it's like if you don't like Pokemon and you're asking to get into Nuzlocke, then it's definitely not because you enjoy the concept of the round, because you don't like Pokemon.
Not necessarily. Like,
let's use
when
the
a
food
season of
breakdown.
Nuzlocke gets released, I have no idea what any of it is. Like, I've never, what was like the game for season 6?
the Gale of Darkness.
I have no
think
idea what that
Chess
is. Never heard
I'd
of
never
it.
heard of it
I don't
either.
even know what a Nuzlocke is in general Pokemon terms. I don't know why the round is called that, but but I can appreciate the concept. So if you wanted to be added to Nuzlocke but you didn't play Pokemon, that doesn't mean you don't have an appreciation for the concept. You just might not enjoy it as much. I've only played one of the public Nuzlocke games, and I had no idea what any of it is, and it definitely can hinder your enjoyment of the season if you don't.
I would not
understand
say that. I would not say that appreciation is on the same level as an enjoyment for something, because I've never touched a Pokemon game in my life. The closest I've done is I played half an hour of Pixelmon once. I have
Nice.
I haven't. I haven't.
People wanted Nuzlocke to be Pixelmon. I was like, what?
People thought it was.
Pixelmon.
That would be
First trailer came out.
I played Pixelmon for half an hour, and I was using it normally and fighting things. I was like, this is cool. And then after half an hour, I realized, wait, I can just not fight things. I could just dump lava buckets on them.
Imagine the
that's a-
Pokemon where it was just take out a gun and shoot them until they're at red health, and you
Also
throw a
appeared
Pokemon.
a gun. Yeah, that's the side.
By the way,
I
Pokemon Go came out with the second generation. Go Chesmus.
Oh yeah, my brother's been talking about that all day today.
I don't think this is an insult. I don't have a huge enjoyment of Nuzlocke concept, mostly because I'm not attached to Pokemon much. But I do have a good appreciation of it. I can. It takes a lot of effort, and the game modes are clearly the season 6 one. Jesus Christ.
We're never doing that again. I'm never doing that again. That was so
Very,
stressful on
very
me and
No
Joris.
nausea, please.
I
Very
would-
strong dedication.
Alright, no
to the theme.
nausea. I've learned my lesson after 2 times.
Yes, seriously.
Nausea's horrible.
I think ideally, and at least in my opinion, what you would have is you would have a game mode or for a specific season that caters to an audience of Pokemon fans, and but also caters to an audience of normal viewers that haven't touched Pokemon before. And I think season 6 definitely catered towards the audience of Pokemon lovers, but not as much people that had no clue what was going on. But if you can find a perfect middle ground
I
to
agree.
fans understanding what's going on, and also kind of having that paid homage of the game, but also people being like, hey, I'm just going to watch some good old UHC instead of, like, dragons and breeding senses or whatever,
Yeah, no, I agree, because in Season 6, I went more into the game, researched a lot of stuff, and, like, how things worked and were in relation to each other, and the behaviors of things, and I just, like, literally took stuff from the game and applied it into the game mode, and I wanted it to be, like, really similar, like, every single concept of the game is in the game mode. And because of that, people were just very confused because they didn't understand. And now I understand that. Now I understand that people want some sort of middle ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really agree with what Chasmic said before. Is that you can't completely appreciate it unless you like Pokemon. Because here is the way I will compare it: is that if you ever heard of the game Lego Dimensions, it's like
Oh yes.
pretty much takes a lot of different aspects of brands that have been gotten access
Established.
to Lego things, and put it into one game. So I was not very interested into Lego Dimensions until I heard, holy shit, there's a Sonic pack for it. And I feel a lot like that's how Nuzlocke is to Pokemon, is that with UHC, it's like, cool, UHC, but then you put it with Pokemon, wow, those are two of my favorite things. And
Yeah.
regardless with Lego Dimensions, for instance, I don't give a shit how horrible the game is. It's got Sonic, I'll play it. And
Are
I
you
feel
saying
like...
Season 6 was horrible? Tommy, get
Yes,
the
that
fuck
is
outta
exactly what I'm saying.
here.
As I've said to you in public, private, every way, I felt that...
I know, I
Lots-
understand.
Yeah. Overall, though, I feel it was a lot better of a season than people gave it credit for. Even though the game mode makes me very, very... Anyway, so... what I'm trying to say is I definitely think that an appreciation for Pokemon adds so much to the round.
Alright, so, Joris, you got anything to say on the topic? I haven't heard your voice.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Well, one of our topics coming up is the going into the script, isn't it? So
Yes,
it's going to be more
alright,
of a
Joris,
platform
you
to
gotta-
talk
That's
about
why
that.
I'm here, yeah.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
you go,
yeah.
there you go.
Alright, what are the qualities of a good organizer then? Let's go.
Alright. A lot of people think I'm an arrogant organizer, and I think that goes for like every organizer that talks about their round, because it seems like people just throw out around the word arrogant, but I don't think it's just they have so much passion for the round that
There's nothing
it's
wrong
like
with pride in your work.
exactly.
I feel that a lot of what people call arrogance is just simple confidence that is being mistaken.
Yeah.
And don't
I
get
think
me
it-
wrong, to an extent, I'm sure we all have a bit of arrogance in us.
no, yeah,
I
exactly.
I have a massive penis, and I'm not going to be quiet about it. But I do see what people mean. But like, people should take pride in their work, and I feel that it's better to be open about that. Toot your own horn, and show that you are happy with what you have done with your recorded round or what be it. Just don't be a dick, and you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's pride and then there's arrogance, and
Yeah.
it's sometimes
Yeah,
difficult
exactly.
to differentiate the line. But
So
it's there.
back to the actual question. I took it to a spin, but what makes a good organizer? Like the number one aspect is the passion the organizer has. Because if you take a look at, I don't want to like say who's the good organizer, who's the bad organizer, but if you take a look at who has been organizing for a while and has been keeping it up, such as Kelt, Keoki, Fairy,
yeah.
Frost, they've all been organizing for, what is it, over 8 and
About yeah.
and it's crazy because you can't, a lot of people would give up after like 2 years. They've all had like 2-year anniversaries, right? And it's crazy. I don't know. It's really respectable. I'm eating lunch. I'm sorry.
Jeez. Oh.
It's really admirable when those people have done so much work for that round. It's like the passion is just enough. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that to start with, you need passion, but a lot of it, like, I think I said this before in one of the previous episodes, but you can be a good organizer. You can have the smarts of being a good organizer, but you also have to set yourself up with a proper and cooperative roster. Because if you don't have a proper and cooperative roster, then you can't get anything done as an organizer. Because there's only so much that you can. There's only so much that you can do on your own before you need other players to comply with you. So there are cases or people who may be a good organizer and they may know what to do, but they just don't have the cooperation of the players in certain cases, which can really drag them down and put them in spots they normally wouldn't be in had they had a bit of a different case.
But that's the same for anything though. Like if you look at any sports team, if you're the manager, you could be the best manager in the world of a sports team, but if you've got a shit bunch of players, there's only so much you can do for that group of people. So
definitely as like a specific example for that. In recent memory, I think Addiction is very good for that because I have a lot of respect for Kraft's an organizer. I've heard a lot of stories about him with Addiction, and I have respect for him. But like with the latest season,
it was not acceptable, really.
Yeah,
to
the
release
upload
like
rates were real bad, and it was
Real bad.
And I would not say that was crap. Well, it was not. It was partially, but I wouldn't say that it was entirely like Kraft's fault. It was mostly just the players were.
That brings me to the number 2 aspect, which is how much the people respect the organizer. Because, if they don't respect the organizer, they won't do anything the organizer says, and thus leading to what happened with Addiction. And that's really important. That's really key. Because the organizer is supposed to be the leader of the group, and if he's not leading anyone, it's not a group anymore.
Yeah, that's the main thing that I feel like a lot of people brush over when it comes to what makes a good organizer, is really assertiveness. Like you can't.
You gotta get in there.
I don't mean to be a bit crude here, but you just can't pussyfoot around things as an organizer. You really gotta.
Yeah.
Like if someone disrespects you, you fucking burn them at the stake in front of a crowd.
I don't know about
that
that
one.
one.
Like, can I
I'm telling
say
you right now, the second someone
man.
spoils in a record round that I run, I witch hunt, I flip shit, and I let people know that I am not happy about it.
Because like, can I?
And it's not that I'm even that bothered. It's just that I want people to know you do not do this. You know.
I
set a precedent.
Because I'm a really strong advocate for shorter upload times. Sorry, this is veering off topic of it, but it will make sense. Like, because the thing with giving months and months and months to upload once the intro has been made is the fact that the people who upload promptly, and I suppose correlates to having respect for the organizer in the round, they're gonna upload quickly, whether you give them 2 weeks to upload or 2 months. Like, the people who upload on time are always going to upload on time. All you're doing by extending the upload period is giving more time to the people who always leave it to the last minute. The people who leave it to the last minute, if you give them 3 weeks, they'll upload it in 3 weeks. If you give them 3 months, they'll upload it in 3 months. Like, so in general, I think shorter upload times are better. So for MFD, I do 3 weeks after the intro comes out.
Actually, it's interesting you say that because most Nuzlocke seasons we give, I don't like to give them such short time, but we've been giving them like 1 to 2 to 3 weeks, and a lot of them has been really good at uploading, except for 40. but
Having a heart attack.
But it's I don't know. It's weird that people could get it up in such fast time. Like, I really want to give them more time because I understand some people have issues. Like Mjora, for example, like he has to like he can't do anything when his computer's uploading or rendering or anything. You know, he just has to sit there for an hour just staring at a screen while the bar slowly moves. No, I'm kidding. He does other stuff, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that I'm on the opposite spectrum here, is that I feel that you absolutely need to give a lot of time because this kind of goes into the other thing that I feel makes a good organizer being kind of friendship, having a bond with your players, because think of it like this, is that when you have players in your rounds, I think it's a lot better when they feel they can be honest with you about a situation like, look, I'm not gonna lie to you, dude, I'm lacking motivation. You know, I don't want to upload this, or I don't want to play the season. And you know, just learn to not be too harsh on them. You gotta. And I know I'm advocating for both sides of very harsh and not harsh at all, but and I think that's the best thing with an organizer is balance between the two. But I think being friends with your players is a very, very good thing. You shouldn't be adding people that you really don't know the mannerisms of. I'd say not even that you don't know. Like if you can kind of understand how they're gonna respond to most situations, like you know their general them.
Yeah.
I'm being very vague here, but
No, I understand, because, like, there have been times where I've invited people I've regretted adding, actually. I'm not going to mention names, obviously, but,
Can I get a
you know,
hashtag name
it's just
drop
because
back?
it's... yeah, Tommy SX. No, okay.
Bruh!
No, okay, no, but there's been people that I just regretted because I didn't know, like Tommy said, I didn't know their mannerism. That's a fault that I had as an organizer. I didn't know how they were as a person, and eventually as time went by, I started to see that maybe it wasn't a good idea adding them.
No, this actually, I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast before, and if we have, then I apologize, but I think this could be interesting here, which is stances on, or just general opinions on adding players to record around without a voting process to get them on. If the organizer just plops someone in and says, I'm adding them because I think they would be good.
I've only ever done that for Joris. And
Oh,
he
I have a
play.
comment about that.
Alright, please.
So,
You have a comment.
Oh, shut up, Dad.
Let's
Okay,
go. All
the
you say
begin-
is all right.
okay, so the beginning of organization of Nuzlocke is completely different to what it is now.
Alright.
It
So,
is completely different.
when it first came out, literally before it even came out, it was me and Blissons, right? And we were really bored, so we created Prism UHC Season 1, which was like a joke we recorded around. Like, because that was a time where, like, I think that was when all the a bunch of record rounds just randomly popped up. Like, Season 1's day after day. 5 record rounds in one day. And so, Blissons and I made this to make fun of it. And our roster, hold on. Okay, so our roster was me, Blissons, Pencil Guy, Daniel Sherba, Engal, and Riker. And so, we literally just did that, and we were just, like, having fun. So after that, we decided that we actually wanted to make a recorder round. And so we just made Nuzlocke. And so we just plopped everyone that was in Prism into Nuzlocke. And then,
Was that
we
like a last minute sub or something? For season
yeah,
1?
we went to, like, the RDM chat. And we just, like, took random people, asked them if they wanted to play Nuzlocke UHC. And they were like, sure. And then we just added them. And that's basically...
Hey, I want to play some UHC.
like, I want to play no, we were like, do you want to play a Pokemon-related recorded round? And, like, our scripter, 8-Bit Fusion, literally, he wasn't even in RDM either. I just asked him, hey, you like Pokemon a bit, and you like the script. Can you make a script for us?
You like
So-
Pokemon, you like script, I got a job for you.
We just invited him, we made a script. And I see the thing about that you need passion. Because, like, what, seasons 1 and 2, Blissons and I were really passionate about it. Like, we'd spend, like, 5 hours a day working on the script with 8-Bit Fusion to actually, like, make it work.
Yeah.
But, like, that's why we transferred, Blisson stepped down, and then we transferred organization to CAC. CAC started to get, what's it called? What was that word I said again?
What?
started-
Transformation? I don't know.
No. Hold on. Transfer
Passion?
to CAC, and then, passion, that's the word.
Yeah.
That's the word. CAC
There's something you
started to get
lack.
passion for it, and then that's when the passion for, like, Parker and I, Blissons, to start dying out. And then that's where we are now. Because beginning of Nuzlocke was just grabbing people and putting them in.
Yeah,
That's what season 1s are like, you know, you don't do referrals for a season 1, alright?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
You can, because nobody knows what it
It's
is.
kinda
You have to
past
establish
that when that
yourself.
generally changes. I, once again, am on the opposite side of the spectrum of CAC and agree with kind of what 40 did, being I often like to just plop people in. And I know people don't always like that a lot. But here's the way I see it, being that, one, if I don't do that, I know exactly who is going to get in by vote. It's never going to be a surprise. There will never be a, oh man, I can't believe he got into said recorded round. That's surprising. I didn't expect to see him there. You'll never have that because the same people
It
are
was
always
like
going to get
season
in.
6.
Um,
Some people.
yeah, and that's why I often just add people without asking. Like, I know KTR bot. He was not.
Oh, that was a great addition.
Yeah, and he was a great addition. He's
That's
an
gonna be
amazing
Nuzlocke.
dude. He's
I'm kidding.
all right,
Hey, dude.
And, but he's a buddy of mine. He's a guy that not a lot of people know, but he's a great commentator. Has a lot of passion for making videos in general, and a lot of times like that, those people won't get in because people just don't know them. And if you didn't know, Floozemaker wouldn't have ever gotten into any record rounds if someone didn't just take that chance and just plop him in.
Oh god, yeah, very good comparison.
And he's been proven to be a fantastic choice, you know, absolutely. And I feel it a lot. You just gotta have that happen. The thing though is, if you do that, you need to be certain of who you're.
Yeah, you're taking a big risk.
Yeah. And it can pay off, but in a lot of cases it doesn't. And well, that's the game you play. But at the same time, I feel like the rounds that are really gonna become bigger, become notable, are the ones that are gonna take some of those risks.
High risk for high reward.
Yeah.
Risk and reward.
Don't I?
I was gonna say that.
That's one of the phrases. Like,
I know it's
okay,
his recorded round, but could we just not have him here?
there are certain phrases and words that I can't say in TS. The people going, "Oh, that's a recorded round name." Like, I'm sorry, that's one of them. Like whenever I say, "Oh, that's a good risk and reward factor," people are like, "Oh, R&R," and it's like, yeah, I know.
No, I understand that too because there's this one time I said the word desire in front of Tommy and everyone was just
Exactly.
like a little bit quiet and then I was like, oh, I said desire and everyone was like, no, fuck you.
What's the next topic? If you have another one lined up for the next question.
I don't know if everyone actually ended up watching it, but the trailer for The Great Frontier
Oh,
Season
yeah.
3.
Alright, well, to start, oh, okay. Anyone else want to start? Then?
I would like to start this one.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Sorry, I just needed a break from you. So,
Wow.
The Great Frontier was, I feel, kind of a much different trailer than usual because I did not in the slightest think it was a trailer for the longest time. And
Yeah, neither did I. Yeah.
Yeah, when the Great Frontier, I was like, oh shit, really? Damn.
That's exactly how I felt about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I'm not entirely sure that that's a good or a bad thing, but all I know is, I regardless was kind of like the hype was building, you know, and it wasn't for the Great Frontier, but then
yeah.
the Great Frontier gets there, and it's like, oh man, now I gotta put this hype somewhere. There it goes.
There it is.
And I
No,
feel like it's
yeah.
kind of like how I don't remember. I was watching a TV show recently. I don't remember, but like some dude was looking to get a job as a doctor. So every time he saw the dude taking applications, he'd say doctor around him, so that he'd associate his name with doctor. And it's like, sure, you know, associate hype. You know, just put in random hype, and then stick you around there. It works out.
That was a great example, Tommy.
I thought it was a
Good
one-time
algorithm.
error, to be honest. Like, when I was watching the trailer and all, like, the people were coming up, sort of saying their lines about...
When I first said it, I
The-
wasn't
like,
like
the
I
puns
wasn't
that there
sure
are,
what he wanted me to say. Like I was just like, why?
Some
you
of
want me to
them
say
were
that?
better than others. Like, a lot of the script did seem quite forced, to be honest, to try and cram as many, like
like Out of
well,
Orbit was really
yeah,
crammed in, I
that
think.
was the Out of Orbit was the only one I felt was kind of crammed in. Otherwise, I felt that it was very well done.
Oh, yeah, because,
Like even Nuzlocke's, I thought was like, creatures
It was
beyond
like
imagination
beyond
or something.
creatures beyond imagination.
And
yeah.
I thought that was,
Wait, what?
I mean, because that kind of it can represent, you know, the fighting spirit. You know, it doesn't have to be about Pokemon specifically. So I thought that was well written.
The thing is that I just like I love the trailer. I loved it at every bit. The thing I just didn't like about it is how like what did the whole beginning part have in relation? I'm not sure if it had any relation to the end part,
Yeah.
where it just like actually it's just a trailer for the Great Frontier. Because I thought it was gonna be a memorable moment of all the recorded rounds ever.
Yeah, I said, I
Yeah.
thought it was a one-time RR trailer.
No, it wasn't like I didn't think it was an R trailer to begin with. I just thought it would be like some sort of like montage of all the recorded rounds and just like many different people saying different things and maybe making a sentence out of it, you know. And that's what I thought.
That's pretty much the same way I felt, and again, I don't know how to feel about that. I feel it's
Yeah,
you're getting people hyped, but not for what you.
the right reason. Yeah, it's
So
weird.
I think overall it was a good trailer, but
I just don't see
know,
the
maybe-
connection between the beginning and
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
it was a weird trailer to do for the Great Frontier. Like, I'm pretty sure the only reason all that was done was because they planned to release on the 5-year anniversary of UHC. I know they're doing like the End Dragon thing, but the way I was led to believe that the realm worked was they worked their way up the versions. So as far as I'm concerned, Season 3 is supposed to be 1.4, but the way they're, by sort of making the trailer a throwback to the start of UHC, you're sort of expecting it to be like beta, aren't you? Or like 1.2.5, that's where UHC started.
That was what I thought.
Like, so if they did 1.2.5 Ender Dragon Rush, I could appreciate it more. Carrying on their concept, doing 1.4 whilst making it about 5 years of UHC seems a bit of a weird thing to do. I feel like that style of trailer with like a throwback would have actually been cooler if it was what I thought it was, which was a one-time RR to celebrate 5 years of
Yeah,
UHC. Like, props them, it was an amazing trailer. I just thought it wasn't the best trailer for the
For what they
round.
wanted, yeah. I would honestly, if I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, I am generally kind of turned off by voiceovers and stuff like that. A couple examples I'm gonna toss in are I feel really bad for not knowing it. It was one of the Out of Orbit trailers. I feel even worse because I think I played. I think. No, was it season 4? It was the one with the voiceovers.
It was.
Yeah,
No,
season
it
4.
was the one where it started off and it was like.
It was
when
like
I
Misha
joined
was
the
in it. and a
space
few others.
program.
Yeah, that one. Okay. I usually love the Out of Orbit trailers, and I totally admire the amount of work Grant puts into them, and I do think the end product is very good. But that is a good example of how voiceovers can totally mess it up, and maybe it's just me, but I don't usually like it. But I do think, I'm only saying this because I do think that Great Frontier, while I'm still not a huge fan of voiceovers, I do think they pulled it off very well. I think the people that they got to voice it did a good job at doing so, and the tones that they used while doing it were professional and nice to hear. But I do think it's very easy to mess up, which I think is even why I give them kind of more respect for doing that, because it worked well.
The only thing
It's a
I
hard thing
agree,
to
though.
pull off.
Yeah,
I definitely. I think I understand what kind of makes a voiceover good or bad, though, being it really is about the voice actor and the tone
totally.
being.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to cite a bad one because I'm gonna feel like a dick. But
That was like
Well, what
season 5
kinda-
intro.
I almost said that.
hey, I thought that was odd. Well, no, actually, you know what?
People
I'll use
thought
that
your
too.
your
I'll
seal
use that
Pokemon
too
one
as a
was
perfect.
cringy.
Again, I'll use that as a perfect example of what I feel a good one is, because I feel a good voiceover is when the voice actors don't take themselves too seriously. So I'll cite
Makes it
the
sound a
Mass
bit
Effect 5 intro.
Unless it's Morgan Freeman.
Yeah. I'll cite it as that and the AP10 trailer where Dibs and Harlan did a voiceover.
Oh, that
but
was
It's
probably
not
the best
like-
example of voiceover ever.
I don't
Yeah.
think they didn't
I
sound like they
don't
were trying
remember
to sell
that.
this as this crazy epic thing. It's like they were talking frankly to us as just like people hearing, it
Like,
wasn't made
yeah.
to be epic. It was just kind of recounting the story of AP. And
Yeah,
I thought that was
you
well
know,
done.
the best example of someone not making it epic is 40 and Nuzlocke season 5 intro. Alright.
I heard you guys just took it from one of my videos too.
No, Tommy, I didn't
you
think
weren't
I didn't
around.
think your Nuzlocke 5 one was that bad. The one I fucking hated was you farting in Arcade Season 1. Wasn't the biggest fan of that.
I think Arcade's choices was like I've said this
It was
before.
horrible, I'm
I
sorry.
really don't like the Arcade 1 intro. I think it's great as a cinematic piece, but it doesn't work as an intro in my opinion. It's very well made. The production quality is very good, and visually it really does look good. I think it really doesn't work as an intro, and I think the voiceovers also add to that. So when I'm hearing Tommy Isak's fart into my ears as I'm watching an animation, I'm kind of like, is this really UHC intro? I don't know.
I know what you mean, and I actually honestly agree. Arcade is one of the ones that voice acting wise, I don't think it was perfect, but I at the same time, like, as an introduction, let me rephrase that. As I think that would have been the perfect hype trailer because
Yeah, I agree.
it's like it's a funny way and a really cool way to introduce the round. The problem was that it again. It's, I just want to clarify, by the way, the fart thing actually was not my idea, contrary to
Uh-oh.
popular belief. Although I
Really?
would have, I was so glad to do it. Yes. But I feel like that would have been much better as a hype trailer.
Like, back to the Great Frontier, the voiceovers, they were really good. The thing that I didn't like about it is that there were different volumes of voices. You know?
Yeah,
One
Yeah.
guy would
fine
be like,
tuned a little better.
one would be like,
Aoki's was
this
really
is the
loud.
risk and reward. And then the next guy would be like, and then the ambition! And I was like,
Yep.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, but like
Um,
overall, it was a good trailer, and I think voice acting being an extremely hard thing to pull off, they did it very well, and the reception on the subreddit has obviously proved that a lot.
Yeah, I honestly gotta hand it to Great Frontier. I think they've done by far the best job recently of around pulling its reputation from like total bottom to like really respected. Because
Yeah.
I remember seeing seeing season one roll along and being like, you know, and I think the main whenever I talk to people about Great Frontier season one, the main thing was it has a lot of potential because it's an interesting concept and it can work
Oh, yeah,
well,
I
but they
loved
just
the idea
didn't.
from day
But
one.
Yeah, but they just didn't channel it properly. And season two came around, people were like, hey, you know, this is actually pretty good. You know, they put more effort, they put more work into it this time, and it shows. And the season three trailer, and people are like freaking out. Like they've clearly stepped up, and it's a good example of just how much effort you can put into it and really bring up a reputation. Because I see people complaining about, you know, season one recorder rounds and they're not getting attention and that sort of stuff. But this is just a good example of if you can make it work. Like you can pull around to this very little reputation and make it a really impressive.
I mean,
and
don't get me wrong,
well
it's
made.
harder to do. Like, I think I've said this on a previous episode, but a round with less known players is naturally going to have a much harder job to become a popular RR than a round which starts off with really well known people. And I don't think anybody in their right mind is going to try and doubt that. And like, Out of Orbit started the exact same way. You know, I didn't know really anybody from the first season of
Yeah.
Out of Orbit, but it was like the dedication. I'm pretty good friends with Garrett, the organizer, and like I know like he doesn't just put up with doing whatever. Like, you know, he does put in a lot of effort to make it the best that he possibly can. You know, he doesn't do the bare minimum to, you know, pump out an RR on the subreddit. You know, he actually wants it to be respected, and so far, you know, since season one, he's been doing a much better job with it.
Yeah, and I can
I'm
really
kind of
appreciate
hyped
that.
for season three as a result of that, and the concept in general is, you know, really quite cool. I think the idea was to make the game mode each season sort of relate to an update, like from that version. So I was expecting like it's obviously it's Ender Dragon Rush, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was moles, because like 1.4.7 moles is the first thing that springs to my mind. You know, like
Yeah, that's true.
WMC
Because they did that.
4 and 17.
Well, alternatively, the way you could look at it is the first ever competitive Dragon Rush UHC was in 1.4 with
Was it?
Minecraft Season 9. Yeah.
Oh, no.
That must be it then.
That's what I'd assume is the idea there. Which I think is,
Alright.
you know, very fitting. So.
So, next topic?
Yes, sure. Alright, Kat just gave me an idea, which I think could be quite interesting. So, how may Nuzlocke change after Engal leaves? Interesting.
Ooh, this is actually kind
Okay.
of a question that I could have a
So-
lot of answers to.
So, a lot of people have been thinking that Nuzlocke's success has been solely on Engel, which I will say that
Oh, not at all. I don't think.
Engel has definitely helped Engel. Engel has definitely helped
Yes.
Nuzlocke. Has definitely helped Nuzlocke, be successful because it just happens because he has that many subscribers. But I don't think the round will take as much as a downfall as if maybe I left or something, you know.
Yeah.
Well, that would
Because,
be
like-
the death of it.
Yeah, exactly.
don't like
Okay,
it.
yeah. But I'm just saying, cause like I feel like he helped Nuzlocke get out there, but Nuzlocke can still be very successful without him.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I think that he did bring. Obviously, Engel is a very large YouTuber, and he's gone from very little across the course of him playing Nuzlocke. He's gone from a very small channel to a massive channel now, and he's seen.
No,
he's seen.
well, at the
No,
start
when
of
he
Nuzlocke,
started, he had like 10,000.
Yeah.
Okay, well, no. What I mean
But
is
it's
just
nothing.
looking at the.
Like,
I mean,
like, it's
looking.
nothing huge.
Really,
I-
more so his journey through Reddit record rounds in general.
Yeah,
Not
sorry,
so
that's
much
kind of
Nuzlocke.
what I more meant.
Yeah.
But
You know,
and although he does bring a lot of viewers to it, they're not the only people watching Nuzlocke. And the main reception from Nuzlocke you can still see on the comments and feedback, like upvotes on the server and stuff like that. There's clearly still an audience for it, regardless of whether Engel can still pull in his viewers from him playing the seasons or not. There are still going to be people who are going to be expecting and watching and being entertained by a Nuzlocke season.
but you
And,
kind of feel like
yeah.
Engel was almost forced out of Nuzlocke because, in my eyes, Nuzlocke was the
He
last thing
was
which sort of
forced,
connected
yeah.
him to Reddit.
Into
You
the
know,
Reddit.
Yeah,
he
I
was
agree.
forced out
He-
because of people. Yeah.
his play style. You know, I'm not gonna. You know,
It
I
is-
don't,
We're
I
gonna
don't
go
wanna
into
be,
this topic.
I don't want to be blunt, but he is too good. Like his skill level is
No, I understand. It's
quite
like
far
putting-
above that of most of the other players. You know, it is a pretty like high skill round. There are some good PvPers in Nuzlocke. Like
Yeah,
Recently,
compared
we
to a
lost
lot of
few.
RRs on the subreddit, but Engel,
Yeah.
you know, he is like a proper sort of
Recently, we lost a lot of
PvPer.
PvPers actually.
Well, I'm gonna put in my 2 cents in this, and this is a topic that ballsy bringing this up, my man. However, I don't think that the viewership is gonna take a big hit, but I do not entirely agree that Engel was forced out. I think that it was a good choice on his part for his own sake, being that. I absolutely agree. Is that no matter what he does, he's going to get shit, and I think that sucks a
Oh
lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Reddit treat him like shit. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say it any other way.
Yeah.
It's the truth, you know. He
now
can't.
I-
He can't really play Reddit UHC because
No,
he
he can't
just
at
gets
all.
attacked, you know. Or if you're a big fan of his, he just has everyone suiciding to him.
Yeah.
If
And now the one thing I do disagree with in general, that with what he seems to have thought and what some people seem to have thought, is that I don't think that his playstyle, like of sword rushing and whatever, I don't think that's the problem. I felt that a bigger problem was that his kind of solo-based
Tactics?
playstyle, yes,
Uh-huh.
kind of where it's
That
not
did bother
so
me.
much. It's not so much in favor of what's best
The
for
team.
the
it's
team. It's
best
kind of
for-
what's going to win the game, and I respect that a lot. I think that's fine. As it's UHC. You want to win UHC. That's
Yeah, that's the goal at the end of the
that's
day.
the idea. However, in terms of for a recorded round, I don't know if that's the way you should be going about it.
Didn't we have this topic in a different, or didn't you guys have this topic in a different podcast?
I think we did. I definitely
Yeah.
remember talking about this before, and I think the basis of it is like, it's basically like
etiquette,
quarter round etiquette.
RR etiquette. Yeah, we have
Yeah,
done that.
and is it, how far would you go, or how far as an organizer would you let somebody go if they're using a play-to-win tactic? As in, would you be fine with them doing anything? Like, this is something that you can get a lot of different views on, because some people think doing things like, backstabbing, cleaning up, like, that sort of more tactics that are considered sweaty and stuff like that. Is that considered okay, or is that just like normal UHC, or is that disrespectful to certain players and that sort of stuff? I do think
I
we've gone over
think-
this before, but this can be talked about again quickly because it is interesting.
I think if I didn't mention it, then the game can go however it wants, because I didn't mention don't put water down the mountain because that could create a lag mission, because I can't obviously think of that, right? I didn't think
Yeah.
anyone would do that, but it turns out someone did, but I can't tell them to not do that in the middle of the game. It's just gonna have to happen like that, and it's just fair because that's how the rules are. He didn't know himself, and he just plays like this to win, And I think it's perfectly fine for someone to play to win. And it's also perfectly fine for them to play to not to win. It just sucks when the two are in the same recorder round.
I didn't feel that the water drop thing was like the water mountain thing was that bad as people thought, because that's a tactic that I absolutely would do all the time if I didn't occasionally remember that it does cause people lag, because I have many times done that, not remembering that it causes other people lag. Because I mean, I got a pretty good computer. It's not a whole lot's gonna bring this down. Like if someone octagons, I'll even be fine. Which is why I encourage people to like octagon or something that affects it. I think it's fucking awesome. I think it looks cool. I think it's fun to watch. But it's I just don't remember at the time that what's happening there is that people are lagging to shit.
Oh, yeah, what was our original topic? We went into RR etiquette, but that's not what we were supposed to talk about.
Yeah, not really.
Oh, no, wait. Engel leaving Nuzlocke, right?
Right.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, 40, do you have anything to say about that? Because you're the one who added him since the very beginning,
Well-
and you were the one that used to be closer to him.
Okay, so adding people wasn't like, it was more like just like adding friends who would like able to
Yeah.
join. And it was like a really pretty close group, because with Ngal leaving, I'm pretty sure there's only like 4 original members left.
Let
And
me
so-
check, actually. I'm very curious.
Well, if you include, well, right now I'm including me, you, Ippy, and Pokey.
Brick.
Brick. Oh yeah, and Brick. So that's like 5.
Are you sure there's not more?
There might be
1, 2, 3,
might be
4.
6. I don't know, but it's not that much. Not that many.
Wow, that is pretty weird to think.
No,
I
because
suppose
recently we
Times
had,
change with rounds. A
yeah.
lot of the original players don't
Yeah.
play UHC
I mean, a lot.
anymore.
Yeah, a lot of
really.
things like move on. People move on from things.
like, Dragon Pasta recently left, and that was also pretty sad, too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Uh,
He's gonna play future, like, anniversary seasons. We haven't done an anniversary season yet, but he's gonna play one of those if we have him. So we'll see him back. But,
One
I
day.
mean, I don't really have an opinion on Ngal leaving. I mean, it's
Really?
his choice.
yeah. I just think like his play style, nothing against it, it's just the way he plays, and the way he plays no longer suits Reddit. And it's cool to be able to say somebody that came from Reddit is now such like a big shot YouTuber, but there's no point sort of keeping him here because the way he plays, is nothing against him, but it just doesn't really work, and he's always going to get a lot of backlash for that. Like that sort of play style in, I don't know, UHC on air, that's going to be perfectly acceptable. Everyone's going to be doing that kind of thing to play to win. It's just the way he plays no longer suits a Reddit environment. So
right, so, next topic?
right, using art for intros.
Oh, yeah. Alright.
Quite an interesting one, I think.
Yeah, for this one, I feel as though I spoke about this on Twitter before too. I feel that art limits the possibilities an intro can have because, yeah, you can say you can animate the art, but really there have been a handful of intros which animated art, and
It's been
Like
less than a
what?
handful. It's
Who-
been. I
Who's
can
done
name.
that?
I can name a singular one, and that's the Nuzlocke intros.
and no, but like
And I know- and all
Out
of
of
it was
Orbit has
done-
done like I think one, right?
Not animated art.
It was like sprite movement and
Oh,
back
okay.
in time as well. The first season one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, but yeah, it's 3 rounds, and all of them weren't
And
even
I guess
like
WMC
art animation,
18
they were-
unfinished one that Brick
yeah.
made is
But
counts
like
too.
they were all just animated sprites, which is
Right.
I mean, it's difficult. Don't get me wrong. It takes a lot of effort, and it's awesome. But animated, like when it's like hand drawn art, there's even less you can do.
And it's yeah, exactly. That's why I'm saying and people don't realize how much time it takes that limits an artist and how animation can work because if you wanted to have animation in your intro probably won't be done for 6 months. That's not something
Yeah.
a recorder around wants. And that's pretty much what happened in season 6. That's why it took so long. And for Nuzlocke, that is. And another thing that I want to talk about is with the renders, it's so much more flexible. Like you could see them moving, you could see them in different sorts of different lights and different styles and different. Like take for example, Burning's Clash of Kingdoms. It wasn't even like renders. It was like from that what was that MC, like it was just like skin viewer, I think, and then he like literally just took it and put it in a frame, and that was beautiful. Like it was nothing high quality render, but it was in a picture frame, and because of that, it looks great. Like it's just how creative you can be with the renders that I think is the avenue that you can take to make intro much better than if it had art. And I know I sound like I'm contradicting myself because Nuzlocke has art.
Yeah, but like the style of
it's
Nuzlocke art is
exactly.
necessary. Like it wouldn't
and I
look the
said that
same
before.
in Nuzlocke
And I understand
intro.
people say, "Oh, well, you can still use renders like people wearing Pokemon skins." I'm like, yeah,
Nah,
but
it wouldn't
there's
look the
art
same.
already in Pokemon, and it just fits if we would have had the art, you know?
Yeah, no, I think certain things art is necessary. I think Nuzlocke is one of them. I don't know really, like WMC obviously art is just sort of part of it. Phobia seems to just sort of go on and off. Like
Yeah.
their art they have for season 2 and 3 I loved so much, but then Neosis just kind of left, and then
That's another thing with
you
art.
need
It's just
somebody
you
who
need
can do
someone
it
who's committed.
consistently.
Yeah,
Like
you need someone
18
committed.
Qs has done the art since season 5. I like to say, yeah,
Yeah,
yes, 5, and you know, since then she hasn't stopped doing it. But
Yeah.
Phobia
Like-
then got new art for season 6, used it for season 6, and then
Yeah. And
Did-
it's really sad, in my opinion, how overrated art is, because when people think art is what makes the intro, it really is not at all, because you can see many intros without art that are really good. Like AP's never had art, and they've been so successful, and all their intros were flat out amazing.
I know Sam always said he would never do art for folktales because he limited the potential of the intro. It was a pain in the ass to get done.
Exactly. And like I was thinking about I forgot what I was thinking. Someone else.
Nicely done.
Buddy
Nice.
disconnected from your channel.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. See,
That
yeah,
was
4D.
yeah, 4D had to go.
Oh, Max also had to go. Oopsies. Anyway, but yeah, I think with art, it should be the way round of if you have an intro idea and it would look better with art, you make art. You don't make the decision, I want to use art, and then try your best to come up with an intro which suits the art style. Because like,
there have been intros where the art just didn't fit, and even for the round, it's just like, there's so
like
much
say
more
you were making
potential that
an
could have been done with
intro,
renders.
and you're like, yeah, I want to do this style of intro for the season, and then the organizer tells you, oh, we're having art made for it, and I want you to create an intro. There's a lot of pressure on the intro creator to have to be so
Exactly,
much
yeah.
more creative to incorporate this art which they didn't sign up for using into
Yeah.
their intro. Like, if the intro, I reckon it should be the intro creator's decision if they want to have art.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
If
if the
you-
organizer
yeah.
says no, that's it. But
Well,
I
I think in that case you'd want to, like, if you want art, that's something that you're not going to give a shit what the intro says. So, if anything, warn the intro creator before you ask them that there will be
Yeah.
art.
A good example of two comparisons, or actually one comparison of two different intros by the same intro maker is Lenboy making Desire 5 and no, wait, 5, right? Desire 5 and Lenboy making Back in Time 3. In my opinion, Desire 5 was way more better executed, way better, and
Really?
like really pretty much every aspect than his Back in
Totally
Time 3.
disagree.
no,
Really?
I think Back in Time 3 was an outstanding intro.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
Desire 5 was also like a good intro, but
Yeah, it was great,
like
but-
it wasn't out
But,
of this
okay,
world.
let me-
I'm gonna
okay, let
remember
me
that
take-
intro
let me
for the
take a
rest of
little
my
example.
life.
So you see what he did with the renders in Desire 5. There's so much more move. And then in Back in Time 3, they just the art just swept by from left to right, and that's really it. That
Yeah, I thought the style of intro they did could have worked with renders, and it probably could have been better. But I don't think that really took away from it because I've only ever seen it with art. I apologize, but like,
Well,
it-
the only reason I've ever really thought that art is not, like, I don't, yeah, it does kind of make it a bit more difficult to be creative and whatnot, but the big thing is just, we're playing Minecraft, we should probably have Minecraft characters on screen.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
only argument Ultraman I've ever felt particularly strong towards, but
Unless
depending
you're
on the way it's
around,
done,
such
you
as
can
like
improve.
Pokemon involved, you know, I think that's
Well,
reasonable.
no, even then I still feel like
Really?
you gotta do something to show this is Minecraft, because if I looked at the Nuzlocke 6 intro, at no singular point would I think
You're
that
right.
that's a Minecraft intro, because nothing about it says Minecraft.
You're right.
No
you're right.
Minecraft is ever shown on screen.
That's
Okay, so
actually true.
but art
But
is
it's
kind of just
fucking
something you
awesome,
get
so I
used
mean-
to with some things. Like, say you I don't know, say WMC came out in 2 weeks' time, season 21, and the intro was made, and there was no art in it. It wouldn't feel like WMC, would it?
Certainly would not.
No, exactly. Like, I think art is something, like, sort of going back to you have to have a committed artist. You have to have somebody who, over a period of time, has a style of art which is known for that round. You do it consistently from season 1. I honestly think I don't like it when you sort of flick in and out of art in the way like Phobia have done.
Yeah,
It's not
I
ideal.
think just having a set art style throughout the entire round is very unique, because, like you said, Phobia. When they like after season 3, they had season 4 where I think it became renders, and I can remember me feeling just like it was like the ice one, right? And I just remember me feeling like, it doesn't feel like Phobia.
Yeah, it didn't, and it was a great intro as well.
It was
like,
a great intro.
just didn't.
Yeah.
But would that style of intro worked if it had art in it? Like, could you picture replacing those renders with artists with like
Yes.
art figures holding
Yeah,
hands?
absolutely.
Really?
I could have pictured
Oh,
it.
Yes.
okay. I disagree. I didn't think that would have worked with that. Never mind,
think
none.
it
Ignore
could've
me.
worked.
I think no, I know, I think that would, no, I think that would be equally weird because at that point the Phobia art was entirely like it was headshots. So then for them to bring out a new intro and it's like full characters all holding hands, I think would have
Oh
also
my
been a
God.
weird jump.
Or just like
Oh,
heads,
actually,
like sort of
Yo,
With
stuff
arms.
you know,
against
that
each
brings
other.
up another topic about art, is that some art is not full body, like such as Nuzlocke, is half body.
Mhm.
That really
Most
limits
art is
me.
not full body.
What?
Most art is
Yeah,
reasonable
exactly.
art is not full body.
I suppose that means
Exactly.
you have to have the art sort of at the bottom of the screen because you can't just have it
Exactly.
sort of cut off
Yeah.
halfway.
It's
Yeah.
So for people who have to deal with that as intro makers, they have a lot more of a tough time than people who don't have to deal with that with like renders such as, because you can only put it in one specific spot, or you got to be really 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 creative to work with it. And
I
you
mean,
know,
you've done a good job of that. Seasons 4 through, like,
but if you think about it, they've been kind of in the same position.
yeah, but I
Season
don't think
4 through
that's
6.
taken away from the intro. I haven't thought Nuzlocke Season 6 a really good intro, but the art has been in the exact same place on the screen for the last 3 seasons, and it's pissing me off. Like, it's not something that's come to my
Yeah.
mind or anyone's.
Yeah.
I would doubt.
But if you look at season 3 of Nuzlocke, where it came through that versus type of thing, that was really creative. Like, that was probably could have think of at the time to make it so that it doesn't come in like that season 3, season 4, season 4, season 5, season 6 type of ordeal where they just stay on the screen, like right in front. I don't know. That was the only way I could keep them the way it was. If you remember season 3.
Yeah. For me, art has to be specific to an era. Like, as much as it's really good art, it really, really bothered me the fact that Ambition Season 13, Manipulation, and Grudge Match
Okay.
all have
yeah.
Sandra's art. And,
I love
you know, just
Sandra,
because in
and I love
Grudge
Sandra's
Match,
art,
like, yeah,
but-
it's fantastic art, but it's not
but-
original in the slightest.
Yeah.
And just because in Grudge Match they all have grumpy faces on does not make it different art. Like, I love Grudge Matches around. Obviously, Ambition, I have a lot of respect for. It's been going for a long time, and before it
And the same
like
thing
died,
happened
I enjoyed
with Evolution
Manipulation.
in another round. I
Oh yeah,
think.
the Conception Season 1 art and Evo 9 by Danny
Yeah.
Decor had the exact same
Like
art.
they're
Yeah, I
they're
didn't like
all amazing. Danny's amazing.
that. He has
it's
one
just-
style of art.
It's not. No, he definitely does have a different style. Remember that one that was like a jazzy type of intro with the
Oh, Satamina.
what?
Oh yeah, Sertamina.
Yeah,
Oh,
I like that intro.
Oh yeah,
And
no.
it was different styles, but the thing is, it just it should be different styles for like I know Kiram can do different style art now, and he can make different stuff. Like he made one for Desire
Well,
One.
Kiram is also the literal reincarnate of Jesus Christ, so.
That's true.
whilst
Remembered.
whilst Nuzlocke are actually here, do you guys like what is your guys' opinion on the Mr. Sonic's fans art for Frenzy Season 9? Do you regard the sprites as being too similar to like
Okay, so
Nuzlocke style
I'm
thing?
pretty. I kind of remember him bringing it up to me, and I was. It's not that I don't want him to do it. I have no. I can't say you can't do it. I just feel a little about it, right?
I don't
Because-
think it matters at all to us. I just think that it looks bad on him to have done it.
But literally didn't even cross my mind, especially since you haven't done that style of art since Season 3.
Well, the thing is,
We've been
it's
using it every
for
season.
yeah,
Have you?
we've been using it for the logos, and we've
Oh,
also
yeah,
been
I
using it
saw
for
it, yeah.
trailers.
Like, and the other thing is,
Yeah.
there's so many. You could have used so many different types of sprite as the format. You didn't have to use Pokemon. There's, you could use fucking Final Fantasy sprites. You could have used I mean, there's millions of goddamn 16-bit games. You don't have to use Pokemon, but.
Although
like,
I did
using
love
that
like he did a
specifically.
really good job on it. Like I
He
can't
Yeah,
did
he
a good
did
job.
do
No,
a good
I
job.
saw the
And the
sprites.
intro
I'm like,
overall
they
was
were
quite
really
good.
great sprites.
Oh, yeah, I liked the intro Frenzy 9 a lot.
Yeah, I like the intro as well. It's just the fact that they're the same type of sprites. You know, if you see Out of Orbit, all their sprites have been completely different types of sprites.
Alright, do you want to give Joris something to say and talk about the script? Because it's been an hour and he said
Joris.
like nothing. I feel bad.
Is he even still here, Joris?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Right,
okay.
here we go.
Alright, so, yeah, Joris, what are your opinions of been working with me with the script for the past 3 seasons?
You don't have to talk about CAC. We've heard enough about him today. Just the script.
Well, it was kind of awkward at first, since I had never even talked to Kak, and he just added me on Skype.
Classic
And
that-
Joris, only being messaged by people when when scripting is needed.
Yeah, same went for Tommy.
Oh.
Then he
Okay,
didn't
yeah.
really use my script.
Don't worry,
I
Leon's
to the-
taken over that role now.
I went
don't
to
worry.
the season 2 recorded round, season 2 plus recorded round calendar, whatever that is, and I was like, hey, we need a scripter. And like 7 people said Joris, so I was like, you know what, I'll give this guy a try. And you know what, I had a great time working with him, and he's been the best scripter I've had since.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Lovely. But like,
Okay, you know what, yeah, go, yeah.
sorry, I
What
don't
were
know
you
why I said that. I have nothing to say.
gonna say? Okay, no,
Good talk.
good talk, good talk. Okay, Joris, yeah. In my time with working with Joris, there's a lot of things that without Joris, I really wouldn't have done. Nuzlocke wouldn't have been Nuzlocke without Joris, because the many creative things that he did in the script is because of him, yeah. But it's just amazing how creative he has been and how supportive he has been, and that's something I really appreciate. And
Yeah.
where else are we going
But
with this?
obviously, like Joris isn't the only one. What about like the other people who do stuff? Like Jamie, he hosts, doesn't he?
Yeah, Jamie
Queenus,
hosts.
Jake.
He hosted-
Well,
Maya.
Jamie
Most
just
recent
hosted
season, yeah.
season 6. He's
Jamie-
not. I don't think
Jamie
he'll
was
be
a
hosting
big help.
again.
Dami hosted the past other 3 seasons, right?
Yeah, I posted 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, and then Jacob helped a little bit with the script season 6. Nor I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's
He really doesn't
016
care.
NOJR.
Yeah.
I say Nor. So
I feel like
Kel.
Kelt's never got enough credit. Shout out to Kelt for all the work
No,
he did
Kel
in
definitely
scripts.
helped. Definitely helped. Yeah. Citrus actually helped as well. And who else? 8-Bit Fusion helped with the script. And yeah, it was a huge corporation to get the script done. There's all these different people. Oh, Leon as well. Forgot him. He made
does
some.
plug-
Yeah, he
yeah.
made plugins for season 6 that like some stuff we couldn't do with script, so he had to make it into plugins, such as like the
The electric
The-
type shooting,
oh,
yeah.
the electric type for shooting faster and farther range. That you can't do in script, so we had him do it in plugin. And that was also
Yeah.
awesome. But
The thing that really has always struck me about Nuzlocke is when it gets onto like the credits page, sort of on an intro. It's fucking
yeah, I think
like something
the
I'd
credits-
write. Jesus
the
Christ.
credits for Nuzlocke has the most credits than any other round. I think that's safe to say because
What
we
is
have
it?
many-
Does
There's
Mr.
like
Cool do
8
something?
people.
What does he do? He helped with the
don't.
logo, didn't he?
oh yeah,
Mark.
I'm horrible with making texts. So
Well, that's also because there's just a lot more shit to do with Nuzlocke, like.
yeah,
And I'm gonna go ahead and piss people off with this one, but I'll go ahead and say that Nuzlocke is the most work put into a recorded.
oh god,
round. This is
the
not,
rage in the
this-
comments.
This is from me entirely. So if you want to piss on somebody's cereal bowl or whatever, it's me. But I genuinely believe that the amount of work put in is just unfrickin' real, and I mean, it's so much more than like it's on a different tier than most record rounds. From what I can tell, I don't know every record round obviously well enough, but from what I can tell, the only other record round that I feel stands up to it is Out of Orbit. I feel Out of
yeah.
Orbit is fantastic. It does a whole lot of shit that's just awesome. But otherwise, I do not think that anyone
Yeah.
really just
I
just CAC puts an unreal amount of work into it, like an
the major-
unprecedented amount.
The major kudos I have for Nuzlocke is because you have a game mode every season that revolves around everyone having different abilities. The thing that really impresses me is balancing, because because like you abilities with different positives and different negatives, and I can't think off the top of my head of a time where I've gone like, I mean, if you have that power, you've won. That's never something that's...
I mean, there's always been one or two which you've thought are slightly
Yeah.
worse than
It's
the others,
really
but
hard
there's
to
never
balance.
been
Dual-type and
any that
dragon-type,
I've...
mainly.
Yeah.
Wasn't there one in season 1 which was a little bit...
normal.
Was that
Yeah,
really
normal
good?
was
Yeah,
okay.
normal
I
was
remember
really
watching
low in the
season
beginning.
1. Was it Herolin's type or something?
What?
No,
No,
it was
no,
Chippy.
it's
He was
Chippy.
water, wasn't he? in season
Yeah,
one?
okay, yeah, he was.
The thing is,
Oh yeah, he had a really
balancing-
crap type
yeah.
in season 1. Water was
Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
bad
Water is
ones.
still pretty crappy, to be honest.
Wait, which one?
Water.
Oh, we're gonna make some balancing changes. Don't worry.
What he
No,
means is
anyway.
you're gonna make some balancing changes.
oh.
Lawyer
Okay.
is gonna do it.
I
Yeah,
Shit,
remember-
them
because
workload.
Joris is kind of retired now.
Oh,
But anyway, yeah, balancing is really difficult with Nuzlocke. Not only because balancing in general is difficult, but because Minecraft itself is not balanced.
Mhm.
Like,
yeah.
definitely is not balanced because,
Especially for UHC.
especially for UHC. So it's really hard to try to balance something like that. So you'd have to really try to think of how many hours me, Joris, and everybody has worked on the script. How many hours we spent just balancing, fixing up numbers, testing it, and just continually rerunning the server, putting on the script, blah 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 blah. It's insane the amount of work we've done, and that's probably why my GPA's dropped a few bit. But
Yeah, I remember I played one of the Nuzlocke test games, and I remember it very well because I was the broken fighting type, which had which had like unnerved strength 2,
oh
which
yeah,
which was it was fun, but it was not fair in the slightest.
Yeah.
Because all I did was I got full iron, and I was like, I really don't need like anything more than full iron. I could just melee anyone and I'd kill
it's
them.
supposed to be nerfed strength 1, I believe. I think that's how it's supposed to be.
I've had like a horrible time with the one Nuzlocke game I played. I had a power, and like the only good thing I had was like a compass that ender pearled you, or
Oh,
Oh,
Or
wait,
something.
Nether Star.
The Nether Star, and on Jake Sir, if you right click
Oh,
a fucking
yeah.
Nether Star, it opens the spec inventory. So my one good power kept putting me in spec mode, and then I fell down a hole and died, and I was first death in the one game I
Oh.
played, and then 4D died about 10 seconds after. It was like, you played like 7 seasons of this, let alone know how many test games. What are you fucking doing?
We call them test games for a reason.
Yeah, there have been times where actually in the season it just turns out horribly. Like season 4 is a good example of how OP physics. Psychic Psychic type.
Physics type.
I don't know. I don't think season 4. I don't think season 4 showed that Psychic was too OP. I thought that was pretty reasonable.
Well,
The
actually,
only
melee is
only
really
thing that was
good.
OP in season 4
Was evolution.
Evolution, which I broke the fuck out of.
Was that thing we had to get like
Dude,
30 levels and you could
When you
upgrade your
got the
type?
levels,
Yeah.
when you
But
got
you
the
could get,
levels,
like,
you
15
didn't
levels if
you
you killed
didn't
someone.
evolve immediately. I was like, Tommy,
Yeah,
if you
'cause
don't
I didn't-
fucking evolve. And like 10 minutes later, you evolved. I'm like, holy fucking shit, yes. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That was a great season.
Yeah, we really had to nerf that.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we did nerf evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We nerfed it like heavily.
Very heavily.
Yeah, but like, sort of talking about what you were saying about Out of Orbit sort of being the only round that sort of compares to Nuzlocke in terms of the amount of different aspects there are to it that have to be done
No,
every
not
season.
not different aspects, just total time of work.
Well, yeah, but like, I think what kind of what I kind of respect Out of Orbit an awful lot for is that you know, with Nuzlocke you go onto the credits and it's an absolutely huge page, but the thing I respect about Grant is the fact that him and Sir pretty much do everything. Like, he's such
Yeah,
a multi-talented person, you know, he makes the intros for it, like everything that, I mean, I know you help with the Nuzlocke intros, Kak, but like
Yeah.
everything that, like, it is his, like,
I
it
agree.
is his round, like the success that
That-
has come of it, I bring 90%
Yeah.
down to him. You know, obviously he's
Yeah.
got to have a cooperative group of players. You know, Sir does a great job co-organizing. Zach Eagle did beforehand, but like just in general, like it is down to the singular like effort that Grant puts in, whereas Nuzlocke
Yeah.
is much more of a team effort. Like, I don't think that much is.
Well, in the
fairly
beginning,
obvious.
it was definitely just a me type of thing because, okay, so this is gonna go back into like season 1, where season 1 wasn't gonna come out if I didn't step up to the plate. Like, nobody was gonna make the intro, nobody was making the sprites, and the entire like the thing was being uploaded in 2 weeks, and I was just like, dude, I really like this round, I like the concept, and 4D and Blizzard just wouldn't put the effort into it. So I eventually took up the task to make the intro and the sprites within that 2 weeks of time, giving everyone about a week and a half time
Jesus.
to actually make the uploads work. And damn, that was actually really stressful. But yeah, just in the beginning of Nuzlocke, it's definitely just a solo type of thing with me. And then around season 4, when I met Joris and a lot of other people, it is definitely a huge collaboration. I would say though, but the most work, even Tommy actually, into Nuzlocke, and everyone else does help a lot, but it's like we are the 3 pillars, if anything, you know.
Mm. Wait, talking of short upload times, very off topic, but what kind of drugs is Fairy on to be able to get like 36 people to get full upload rates? And like, didn't he give like 3 days for WMC
No.
20 or
No
something?
way.
No, he gave more than 3 days. He gave,
Because,
I think he gave us 2 weeks or so.
but even so, 2 weeks, like
Yeah, I don't
36 out of 36, that's very good. Considering some of these players, you know, I didn't even know they still existed, let alone were
Season 6 for
capable
Nuzlocke
of
fully uploaded. I don't
uploading
remember.
that efficiently. So fair play to
No,
him for
Kak,
that.
you're not good enough to ever have full uploads.
We
so
did. I'm pretty sure we had.
Keep
Was it-
dreaming.
One thing you mentioned, Kak, which kind of made me think of something, is when you said that no one was bothering to make the intro. That's one thing I've seen which can really hurt like everyone's motivation for an RR.
Right.
Is like, because I've seen many RRs where like everyone's motivation has gone down because it's like, where's the intro? Where is it gone? 'Cause
That's
I think
actually what happened with season 6 of Nuzlocke. Yeah, continue.
that nearly happened like it's probably manipulation season 2 before season 3 and its death. 'Cause I think the death of season 3 was attributed to just no one made an intro. Everyone in manipulation when season 2 was being made, it like the motivation was dropped hugely because it's like, where's the intro? No, none of the organizers have said anything in the chat about intro in ages. Where is it? When are we uploading? And it's just that kind of that lack of being able to do anything when related to the
Right.
RR
But
really
yeah, when
kills a
when
lot
an
of people's
RR hits
motivation.
an absolute standstill, and that's why I think like the uploading period is probably the most tender for an RR, because there's so much pressure to keep things moving. That's why I like to sort of keep morale up in the chat almost. Like I always try and give updates on absolutely
That's what I
everything. I
try
send
to do as well.
like
Yeah.
I was sending like daily mass messages
Yeah.
and stuff, because
That's-
like if the organizer looks like they're putting effort in, everyone else is
Everyone's
going to
gonna-
have
yeah.
respect and
That's
share
what
their
you have to do as an
enthusiasm.
organizer, and
It's
that's
like-
what I've been doing. Yeah.
I know an organizer needs a cooperative group of people, but
Hmm.
a cooperative group of people still need a leader,
Exactly.
and I think that person needs to really step up when it comes to
Right.
that. And anything? Does anyone have anything else they want to discuss? Because that is the 6 topics.
Oh, isn't there like a last topic where you talk about the origins?
Oh yeah, go. We've sort of already done
pretty
that.
much
We've
done that,
talked
yeah.
about the origins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
40
guess,
talked
yeah.
about that.
Yeah, right. So 40, what he said is right, obviously. But after like season 1, obviously their motivation dropped after the season 1 was even like done, before it was even done uploading, right? Because I think Blissen's uploaded late. 40, I think he didn't upload. I think I don't. I could be wrong about that. And they didn't make the intro. They didn't do a lot of sprites. So then season 2, they were ready. They were actually a lot more passionate about it, because what happened was, when I got the intro and everybody received Nuzlocke pretty well, they started to have more passion and motivation. By the end of season 2, they lost it again. So with that pattern, I just couldn't allow that to happen with Nuzlocke, because that's not a good pattern. And so I took it from there, all the way till now, and throughout each season, I've, like what 40 said before, I've completely changed the organization of Nuzlocke to a lot more detail to different things, because such as a script, such as the way people are formed in teams. Actually, Nuzlocke does a lot of rigged teams. People don't know that, but rigging teams is kind of
Honestly,
beneficial for a round.
That is something that's kind of always triggered me about Nuzlocke. I don't know why, but every single season, I'm just like, what's the team style? You haven't told us what the team style is. I'm always
Yeah.
curious, because like
Alright.
some of the teams were pretty weird. Was it like Green GL, Sig Garcia, and Slow Pro, or
Yeah.
something like that?
Well, for those,
Yeah.
it was randomized with edits, but I think the idea was we didn't want more than one particularly good player on a team. so-
Exactly. That's why
Oh,
we.
that's
which we failed to do. But you know.
Engel, Fukano, and Zaki was a weird one. In which case, then, Kazak, I
Yeah,
see you joining
well,
another TS server.
Pretty much, I told CAC we really shouldn't be putting Fukano and Engel together. They're both a bit. I mean, Engel's obviously amazing, and then Fukano's very good still. CAC, of course, is an idiot.
I agree.
That doesn't matter. But so yeah, that's kind of how we got there. Fuck.
Anyway, just one final question before we probably should end this off. What did you guys think when like what was the morale like in the round when the script got leaked?
Well,
Oh, that incident.
Because of the public pastebin incident.
yeah. Well, for me, I wasn't obviously happy, but like, there's nothing we could have done about it, and that's the most disappointing thing, because it's something we've worked so hard on, and there's nothing we can do about it being leaked. Nothing at all.
Yeah. What, in regards to what people did, like, I understand what the idea was, that they believe it's stupid that we keep it private, and now, please, try and hear me out on this one. It's a script that's been so much time put into it. The idea is it's supposed to be something that people really want. It's called fucking basic advertising. Give something that people really want, but hold it from them. Withhold it so that when they get it, it's like, oh shit, yes! And then you keep withholding it, and that's kind of the idea there. It's just we're trying to make it so that our round is something that people give a shit about by
the unique
making them not be
Nuzlocke.
able to have it. Like making the game mode not playable so easily, so that when you can, it's like, oh man, I can't believe I could do that. It's not like I actually like the game mode, but the fact that I'm not normally able to play it, oh well, now it's interesting, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, Joris, how did you feel when all your work was just put on public display?
I like to say I didn't care, but that's obviously not true.
Yeah, because
Yeah, there's not really anything we could have done about it, so
Yeah.
we just gotta accept it.
yeah, like I was like not happy about that because a lot of the testing for the Nuzlocke script happened on Atlantis, my old server, so I could see like I'd tested out sort of like Nuzlocke PvP and stuff, and I could see like the amount of work Joris put into it sort of firsthand, and I hated to see that because I've always appreciated that the idea of like like a lot of what it makes Nuzlocke so special is how rare it is, and taking that away like in the way it was, I did feel, you know, it did take away from it quite a
Yeah.
bit.
How much
Which
time
was-
are we on, by the way?
Probably
lot.
like 1.5 hours, which is like,
Okay. Is there
No,
time
that-
for
that
another big
was-
topic or no?
time for another big topic. What did you have in mind?
How
Is
Nuzlocke?
God real?
What?
Shut up.
No,
That is a big topic.
it's the topic is the comparison and differences between Nuzlocke and superheroes.
All right, go for it.
Can I?
Alright.
Is it okay if I just try to get this down really quick so we can end this goddamn thing?
Sure.
Sure, go ahead.
Yes, superheroes rip off. If it's just like
Okay.
superheroes, who gives a shit? It's a lot better than superheroes. There's so much more time put in, and it's not just superheroes. There's a specific concept. It's like I said, Lego Dimensions, Sonic is really cool, and it's like that with Minecraft, Pokemon. Wow, that's really cool, and it's actually a lot of thought put into it. So it's not just a superheroes ripoff. It's like a superheroes ripoff with mega fucking steroids.
But
Fair
I
enough.
just do.
Well, what about Zoomania though? That's the real question here.
XD.
Well, that's a
XD.
classic. That's a
Great
classic.
question. Great question.
Oh.
Alright. But yeah, no, with Nuzlocke and superheroes, I think the core difference is in how they were different in like what their purpose was. Because Nuzlocke is supposed to be everyone has a different ability, and they're supposed to use it to adapt to their PvPs. Whereas
Superheroes, CAC.
superhero, it's more team based, and they all help each other when what the team lacks and what they have.
I think
in my
more so the
opinion.
key difference is just the conceptualization. It's not just one of them is just simply everyone gets a potion effect, whatever. Whereas Nuzlocke is so much more than that.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, do you wanna close things off?
Yeah.
All right.
I really appreciate guesting us. Me,
No
Tommy,
problem, man.
40, and Joris. So
So, alright, so thank you for watching, thank you so much for coming, Nuzlocke. For Max, who has left now, for 4D, who has also gone, Kazmic, thank you for coming.
Hey.
For absent friends, Lego and Brick.
oh yeah, Brick
Um,
was supposed to show up.
But yeah, Brick had...
Thanks for helping me come.
Yeah, it was
Thanks
really
for having
enjoyable.
us.
And on
Yeah.
that note, fucking hell. Oh, lovely. Yep, thank you, Nuzlocke. Have a good one, guys.
Have a good one, podcast.
Alright. Peace out.